Hello, YouTube. As I've been watching the Insatiable TV series on Netflix, I have noticed an important theme: the search for identity. Identity is very important in this show. For example, Nani, the best friend of our main character, Patty Bladell, is feeling a sense of being pushed aside by Patty, as she feels like, as Patty has gone within, that their relationship is just not the same. She has a lot of feelings for Patty, and she should. She's grown up with Patty. She's literally become an appendage of Patty, but that's what she no longer wants to be. Nani wants to be her own person. She wants to get out of the shadow of Patty Bladell. So in the 10th episode, she leaves her, to say, I need to find myself. On her, she needs to figure out who she is. Practically abandons Patty when she needs her most on her 18th birthday. In the same issue of the search for an identity is in Bob Armstrong's wife, Coralie, who, in the beginning of the episode, we learn about her past. She came from a economically deprived situation. She married into money so that, and she wanted to play the role of sovereign socialite. She really wanted that lifestyle. Um, but she's also trying to find out who she really is beyond that kind of role playing that she's been doing for most of her life, trying to act like something that she really was not. Something that she was putting on an act that she was a socialite when there was something else behind her. Um, and if we look at, for example, another character who is in the shadow of another, we can look at, for example, the other Bob Barnard, who all of a sudden, well, this wasn't all of a sudden because I could see it a mile away. This is how these left-wing shows tend to do this, but he was gay, and he's doing all these, I don't know, they don't really make any sense that he would go and sleep with Stella Rose so that he could feel closer to his rivals, Bob Armstrong, because he had all these feelings, all these pent up feelings for Bob Armstrong. So he wanted to sleep with Stella Rose and had a child with her. It seems really convoluted, and I think this is where the show really starts to kind of go off the rails a little bit because it doesn't seem believable that somebody would go through with something like that. But you can clearly see that he's trying to strive for his own identity that goes beyond the public face, beyond the created, the kind of the play acting he's doing with this kind of clean cut, you know, uh, southern aristocrat mentality he has. And you also see the search for identity with Magnolia, who is essentially positioned as like the perfect daughter of the great of this Bob, and she has a lot of drug problems, alcoholic problems. She doesn't want to be perfect. She wants to be her own person. So it's another search for identity. And the thing is that it feels like to me that the show is trying to say that we put on all these public faces, but we have another side that represents the more genuine side of who we are. Now, the way how the show goes about it, for some of the characters, I can understand it, but with respect to Bob Barnard, the fact that he would go through such a convoluted journey to want to express his feelings to Bob Armstrong, who he had been, rivals with, and he claimed, I've been in love with you for all this time. I don't think that does not really work in the way how the story has gone. It just seems kind of like I could understand he had feelings, but the fact he would go through all of that, all those steps, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me, and I don't. It really makes no sense, especially the fact that Roxy is his daughter and not the daughter of Bob Armstrong, which I think would have been a better plot point. So the show, for me, this theme runs through a lot of the characters. It's all about search for identity. Christian is searching for an identity that goes beyond his, his religious roots. He's looking for something that's spiritual, something a little more visceral than what his religious parents are trying to give him. You can see Patty is trying to gain a new identity with, with her new thin, um, with the fact that she's now thin. Now she's trying to figure out who she really is, after being in the shadows of practically everybody. But that theme, it's quite interesting, honestly. It doesn't work for every character, but I feel that it's one of the things that makes the show worth watching, despite the plot holes, despite, what I explained earlier with Bob Barnard. I mean, it just absolutely makes no sense. It just seems convoluted and complex for complexity's sake. But it makes the show worth watching. So, yes, and this theme of searching for one's identity and getting out of the shadow of others is quite good. So it's another reason to watch this show.